Welcome to Peak Care's Bills Consultation Network. This is the first network of this type that Peak Care has established, but I'm sure will be the first of many that we'll be setting up over oncoming weeks and months. So you might like to regard yourself as a guinea pig, but I'm sure one day we'll look back at this network and think of it as the first and the best. This network has been established for a few key purposes, and they include firstly, to discuss and exchange information and opinions about three new child protection bills. They include the Public Guardian Bill 2014, Family and Child Commission Bill 2014, and Child Protection Reform Amendment Bill. In the course of exchanging information and providing advice to each other, we're wanting to use that information to inform Peak Care's submission to the Parliamentary Health and Community Services Committee. Those who participate in the discussion group may also like to use this information to inform their own organisations to the committee if they choose to do so. Whilst there are three new bills, the focus of this video is on the Family and Child Commission Bill. Shortly we'll be releasing two other videos dealing with the other bills, the Public Guardian Bill and the Child Protection Reform Amendment Bill. But firstly we'd like to provide an overview of the three bills in their entirety. So let's look at firstly the combined purpose of the bills. According to speeches delivered by the Honourable Jared Lage, Attorney General and Minister for Justice, when introducing the bills to the Legislative Assembly on the 20th of March, he said each bill, quote, represents an integral part of a suite of three bills that comprise the initial stage of the government's reforms to build a new child and family support system in Queensland over the next 10 years. So in essence, and according to the Minister, the bills represent the first steps towards implementing the government's response to the Queensland Child Protection Inquiry's report, Taking Responsibility, a Roadmap for Queensland Child Protection. Some timeframes for you to take note of include the following. On the 20th of March 2014, the bills were introduced to the state's Legislative Assembly. The 14th of April 2014 is the closing date for submissions to the Parliamentary Health and Community Services Committee about one or more of those bills. On the 29th of April, there'll be a public hearing on the bills held from 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. and held in the Parliamentary Annex. By the 13th of May, the Health and Community Services Committee is required to report to the Legislative Assembly after considering the bills and conducting the public hearings. By the 1st of July, legislation is intended to allow for implementation of the following key reforms. Firstly, it's intended to enable the establishment of a new Office of the Public Guardian to provide individual advocacy services for children and young people and management of a revised community visitor regime. It's to allow the introduction of a new Family and Child Commission and also the establishment of new independent child death review panels. The legislation will also enable the transfer of the administration of the Blue Card system to the newly established Public Safety Business Agency. The bill will also provide for changes to children's court processes and revised processes for relevant departments to manage child protection system complaints with oversight provided by the Ombudsman. Other changes that the bills are intended to introduce or allowed to be introduced by the 1st of January 2015 include the following. Changes to the Child Protection Act 1999 to clarify when a report may be made to child safety about a child and to consolidate the mandatory reporting requirements into a single act, the Child Protection Act. It's also to enable prescribed entities, not just the department, to share relevant information about children and young people with service providers under certain conditions prescribed within the bill. Let's now look at the Family and Child Commission Bill and some of the major features of that bill. Some of those features include that it assumes some functions previously performed by the Commission for Children, Young People and Child Guardian currently, while some of those functions currently performed by the existing Commission are transferred to other entities. The Family and Child Commission will be established as an independent statutory entity reporting to the Premier, and the bill importantly also provides for the appointment of two commissioners by the Governor and Council, one of whom, as stipulated within the bill, must be an Aboriginal person or a Torres Strait Islander. According to the bill, the functions of the Commission are to include the following: systemic oversight of the child protection system, systemic rather than individual investigation or advocacy in relation to individual children, young people or families. To look further at where that function will be undertaken, you'll need to watch the next video when we talk about the role of the adult guardian and child guardian and under the umbrella of the public guardian. Other functions include the development and review of workforce planning and development strategies in collaboration with relevant agencies, the private sector and education providers. The Commission will also have a role in providing public education and community awareness raising about the responsibilities held by families and communities to protect and care for their children. The Commission will also be charged with responsibility for the development and coordination of a multidisciplinary research program and the maintenance of a child death register. Broadly speaking, a function of the Commission will be to exercise cross-sectoral leadership and, as part of that leadership, be able to provide expert advice to relevant agencies about laws, policies, practices and services in relation to child protection. Some other notable features within the bill is the capacity of the Commission to establish one or more advisory councils to advise the Commission on matters relating to its functions. It's also contained within the bill certain obligations of the Commission to annually report on 3 matters. The first is performance in progressing state and national goals relating to child protection, Queensland's performance in relation to other jurisdictions, and specifically progress in reducing the number of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children involved with the child protection system and the improvement of outcomes for those children. Firstly, the question we'd like you to consider is what aspect of the bill are you pleased about, and if you're pleased about those aspects, why? Secondly, we'd like you to consider what aspects of the bill you're concerned about and why. And thirdly, if you are concerned about some aspects of this bill, what changes do you think could be made to address your concerns? They are the 3 key questions that we're asking you to consider in our discussion by this network. This is also a reminder that a copy of the bill in its entirety, the explanatory notes that accompany the bill, and the Minister's introductory speech is available on the Health and Community Services Committee's inquiry page at the address that you'll see on the screen. We very much look forward to hearing your comments about the bill, what you think is good about the bill, those matters that you're concerned about, and having a fruitful discussion that might inform both your submission to the committee as well as PCARE's submission to the committee as well. We hope you enjoyed this discussion.